everyone. Let's start off, even if I think that we will see some more people joining as we go. I think that to pay some respect for those who actually were on time, let's go. Today we have Cloud-fika, and we have a special guest, as we mostly have. Sometimes it's from our own people, the staff within Elastx, and sometimes we have somebody from customers or partners. And I'll get back to our special guest, but just firstly, I have been with Elastx for almost 3 years, looking after the development and maintenance of our Elastx cloud platform within the company as head of engineering. Elastx is a cloud infrastructure and services company. We deliver the Swedish cloud, we like to say. We focus on building highly available services and offering those to customers and clients with very high requirements around compliance and security. And that's also why we have our 3 availability zones, which we're really proud about. And we'd love to open source. So most of our services are built on open source software. AI, artificial intelligence, is a very hot topic, of course. Most seminars and fikas probably include some kind of AI nowadays. Our journey within AI is, of course, around infrastructure. So we provide the GPUs, and we've been doing that for 2 years almost. We have had quite a steep curve in learning how to manage the GPUs and how to offer them to our customers. In the beginning, it was all about just having raw GPU power, but we also learned that the clients and customers quite often wanted services that could make it easier to consume the GPU infrastructure. And we tried a little bit, and we offered for a couple of months our own software around AI as a service. However, we quite quickly came to the conclusion and decision that we should actually look for a partner. And that's where we ended up with a company from Finland called ConfidentialMind. And since we've become the Swedish reseller of their fantastic platform for AI services and management of LLMs and other types of use cases running on our infrastructure. And I will actually hand over to Markku quite soon, just to mention a few things that are I need to mention. We're recording this session, so that you know. We will share it on our YouTube channel after the session, and then also we'd like to open up for questions once Markku has run his presentation. I mean, if you really want, please then just drop it in the chat, and we can take it straight away. But if nothing else is mentioned, then we'll try to summarize and take the questions afterwards. Good. We also have then Markku on, and he will soon take over and present himself. But we're really proud of having ConfidentialMind as a partner. He will run a presentation, including a demo, I think, which is really exciting, and some insights into a joint customer case that we have with a client called Sitevision and their CMS that they are building and integrating with ConfidentialMind AI services and Elastx infrastructure. So the topic for today: learn how running AI in the cloud can deliver a real-world business impact. Markku Räsänen, welcome.
Good. Thank you, Michael. And yeah, very nice to be here. I'm calling in from Espoo, right next to Helsinki in Finland. And yeah, let me go straight into the topic. But yeah, to introduce myself, so my name is Markku Räsänen, and I'm CEO and one of the founders of ConfidentialMind. And yeah, we're based here in Finland, but of course operate in various different countries. My presentation today is titled "Learn How Running AI in the Cloud Delivers Real-World Business Impact." And yeah, let's go right in the thing and see how you can do more in your business by running AI, and especially generative AI. A little bit about us. It's not our first rodeo. We have been doing this type of deep tech software products and systems for quite a while already. There's 3 of us founders in the company. We started in a company doing embedded file systems, so reading and writing data in various devices. Over 120 million devices each year use that software. And then going to distributed systems that are essentially systems that form the backbone of modern cloud systems. And then, of course, now also machine learning and AI. The reason why we started this company is that we had some bad experiences with quite bad vendor lock. And we wanted to start a software infrastructure company that would basically solve this problem for ourselves. Essentially, we're solving problems that we had ourselves. And one of these is, of course, like not having to have like a vendor lock-in, being able to deploy AI workloads to various places, run open source LLMs in places where we want. And we have been on this journey already for a couple of years soon, and hope for many more years to come. So with the topic of the presentation, of course, for us, Elastx is a great partner. They understand this field. They understand open source. They understand more cloud native technologies. And then we have joint customers that we help. And in this presentation, of course, the idea is to talk about Sitevision. So Sitevision is a leader in the CMS space in the Nordics, so content management systems. So often, intranets, sites, websites are powered by these CMS systems. They're typically SaaS tools, and Sitevision is a leader in that space. So they include the way to change various websites and intranet sites, add content to them, add certain functionality, do blog posts, add files, all these kind of things. So it's a whole SaaS platform end to end. Of course, they value information security. I mean, that's one of the reasons why they have partnered with Elastx and partnered with us as well. But the overall problem that we started solving for them together with Elastx is how can they integrate generative AI into their platform without endangering customer data and information security. And I'll talk a little bit more about that and how our platform running on Elastx, how it contributes to that. So one way to think about ConfidentialMind is that we're a software platform, basically a set of software that forms all the required components for an AI cloud. So instead of being limited to, let's say, running in one specific place, we can produce the same type of AI cloud environment pretty much anywhere. So on Elastx, in your own data center, in your own private cloud, or even in some edge environments. And of course, we have experiences in all these environments. You can use the software as your whole backend for generative AI applications. So you can modernize existing applications, and you can create totally new AI applications as well. The target group for this solution are software developers. So we are not one of those machine learning platforms where you need to be an ultra like AI expert per se. No, we've made things like very, very easy to manage and deploy and develop on top of. Thinking about like the modern compute stack, especially in AI. Starting from the lower levels, of course, there are servers, there's a cloud infrastructure. So for example, in many cases, Elastx provides that cloud infrastructure. Then there's some type of software to provide virtualization to basically make that physical hardware more efficient. And often on top of that, there's a so-called cloud native layer, often Kubernetes, which offers functionality that, for example, most of the world's AI systems run on top of Kubernetes. And of course, Kubernetes runs on top of Linux. So that being said, like, you know, where we as users encounter generative AI or AI as the broader term is, of course, in applications. And then having this compute stack, how do you integrate very easily in any kind of environment generative AI to your application? And that's pretty much the gap that we fill. So how this gap outside of ConfidentialMind is being filled is, of course, companies create their own software stacks for, you know, deploying AI models, for integrating them to their applications, for managing them. We think that this is a highly specialized area, and a company like ours, we can manage this very efficiently. And then, you know, our partners, customers, like for example, in this case, Elastx's customers can concentrate on creating business value and not creating so-called AI inference stacks, which often for most companies, this is not, you know, the core business area. So overall, software platform like ours, what problems does it solve? So of course, at the very top of the list is security. So one way to think about this is that, you know, you have your data already somewhere, and we bring the AI capabilities, the whole AI cloud, to where your data already is. You don't need to move your data. And another way to think about this is that, let's say you want to have your data stored in a secure place, for example, on Elastx's cloud in Sweden. We bring you the possibility to do all the cool things that you see other people do in other clouds, basically. And the main idea of how our platform is used, of course, there are like simple use cases, like you can get a large language model running. I'll show soon a little bit about that. But the main idea is that we have gone much past that, like talking to our customers, our partners' customers. I think what people really need is like, they need the ability to deploy complete AI systems. So what this means, right? So this means that, you know, when, for example, you use the API of OpenAI, this is a complete AI system behind the veil, right? So behind that curtain, behind the API, there's a complete AI system, not just a model, right? The lingo where the AI companies talk about the, hey, there's a model behind the API. This is more like a marketing thing. So there are, you know, components to process data, components to save data, databases, all these kind of things. And what we do is that we bring these complete AI systems to your secure environment next to your most valuable data, and we give you access to all the source code, including the AI systems. Very few competitors do this. Our software is not entirely open source, but to our partners and customers and partners' customers, we give access to the source code, of course, for compliance reasons. So all of these results in reduced time to market, no need to do a lot of custom engineering, can quickly spin up AI systems, for example, for use cases like RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation, which basically means you're bringing some information to an AI model, and then it concludes some task or answer for you based on that. Similarly, we're rolling out agent systems now. We're rolling out, graph database-based RAG. We are rolling out reasoning endpoints, all these kind of things. These are full pre-engineered AI systems, end to end. And very soon they will also include AI evals in that. So everything is delivered through this one single API, this one single AI endpoint. And we guarantee to certain performance standards, the performance of these systems. And lastly, of course, like having the ability in your environment next to your data to deploy these pre-made AI system endpoints, this saves a lot of cost. So you can imagine that, it's quite many individuals that you need to hire to make an inference platform like ours. And then potentially, it's quite many individuals if you want to make, for example, RAG systems from scratch. When we provide these AI systems to our customers or partners' customers, it doesn't mean that you cannot do your own flavors of them. Like we don't have access to your data. This system is in your environment. We don't have access to it. But we are all the time making tooling so that you can tune these ready-made AI systems to perform really well with your data. And we hope by sometime Q4, we have more of an automated process for that as well. So then with Sitevision, like what have we done there in Sitevision's product and platform as such? Most like business helpful generative AI cases are you integrate generative AI into a product or digital experience, right? So the user gets some new function. So in this case, of course, it's generative AI models helping to generate SEO keywords. So let's say somebody writes an article, a blog post, you get automatically the keywords that are recommended based on the content. You get automatic generation of blog posts and page content also from internal files such as PDF. So again, like huge time saver, really, really good feature for this platform, something that Sitevision's users appreciate a lot. You can also use, like we've integrated essentially semantic search, so generative AI performing a much more accurate file and document search. And when I'm talking about all these features, the platform running on Elastx, it offers a simple API, an API key, and pretty much any software engineer can integrate these features into the software. Of course, the people who are upkeeping the software choose the right way and right manner of doing it, but they don't need to spend so much time on the AI engineering itself because the platform provides full functionality from the backend. Then, of course, chat assistant as well, and content summarization. But the main point is that there's many, many more to come. So to Sitevision, to Elastx, to many other companies, we act as, our partners and customers, like an AI lab and also AI infrastructure team. So it has been very rare that, we've encountered something that is completely not doable. But of course, we will tell if something's not possible. But we're all the time making new features, helping basically people ship new features and new things that add value to their customers. Here's roughly how the product looks like. I will show a demo soon, so no need to spend so much time on this. And I'll talk a little bit about our roadmap. So we are quite open about the roadmap, simply because this is something that we would also like to have a discussion with the community and our customers, like what is important, right? So now during Q1 we've spent a lot of time on making things simple to deploy. Of course, this applies to Sitevision as well. Like, how can you deploy these systems easily in Elastx, for example, and how can you do, for example, logs of how the AI system has performed, and how can you also update the infrastructure easily. So, of course, for security updates. Q2, we're doing more agents. This is also something that many companies are currently focusing. And our approach here is that we make AI backend systems for agents that really work. And then there are certain areas of agents that we don't want to touch. Mainly like really complex agentic systems are still very difficult to do in a way that we could give an SLA to. But let's say you have some data, you have an LLM, and you want it to perform an action based on that. That is very much doable already today. And then, of course, Q3 multimodality. So this means analyzing pictures, analyzing video content, embedding potentially content to video content, these kind of things, and then more automations in Q4. Typically, our pricing works on this way. So, of course, the product is a bit of a premium product, but typically it's 20,000 euros plus 80 euros per gigabyte annually, and we provide full support to the system. So one way to think about us is like we provide you a product and also the full team that you can exchange ideas with. But let me now show a quick demo so you can also see that what is the value and why this is a thing that is worth having a look at. So, all right, I'm here in our own private cloud. So this is an environment that runs 6 H100 cards in a data center. In our case, all these environments look the same because we provide the same user experience everywhere. So let's say I want to deploy a RAG endpoint. So again, this is a full end-to-end AI system, not just a simple RAG. This has multiple models working together, inspecting the result, also doing re-ranking, doing information pre and post processing. This is something that teams spend potentially years honing. And if I'm a developer at your company, I have instructions here how to use this AI endpoint, like in your software application. Of course, we have full documentation on our website as well. So let's say I want to deploy this system. I do so. I give it a name. I press deploy. And what happens now is that the system first inspects what large language models or other AI models are running underneath. It will not replicate those models. Instead, it will use the pre-existing models. It will deploy individual databases for this, data connectors for this. It will also deploy vector databases, vectorization pipelines. It will also in the future, of course, deploy eval LLM models and other components that are needed. But everything's automated here. and it's creating your own secure AI endpoint as microservices in your own cloud environment. And if you want, you can zoom into all the components that are here. Let's say now that this is deployed, so again, like I can already start working and integrating this into my application. Here's an API URL. Here's the API key. I can also go here and manage people's access. I can create multiple API keys and then monitor which people are accessing the endpoint, which applications are accessing it. Let's say I want to add data source here. So we have a list of multiple different data sources. These are currently being worked on based on priorities from customers and partners. So let's say I want to add an S3 storage, the object storage full of PDFs. I give all the information here, and the system will start automatically in the background vectorizing them. And every time there's a change in this S3, it will automatically, within seconds, vectorize those PDFs so that they're usable by the AI application or usable by your SaaS application that uses the AI backend. And again, this works obviously the same way when it's running in the Elastx data center with your data. And then Q2, I can add agents directly to this endpoint. So I can add agents that tap into the data or functionality of the endpoint, and then on the upper level through the API, the functionality is delivered basically. I can then manage all the endpoints here. And let's say I can also, if I want to deploy an internal knowledge assistant, let's say in the case that we talked with Sitevision that they're adding semantic search, they can just deploy this and integrate that into the search field of their product, and they have fully functioning semantic search for their product. No need for custom AI engineering there. And then one important thing here is that we provide a lot of these high-level endpoints and AI systems in the future, and we will provide you tooling and instructions how to tune them and make, for example, an industrial logging endpoint out of this RAG endpoint, and anything that you need for your own use. And of course, those things that you do on top of our IP, those are your IP. We don't want that. We don't have access to your information. The system also offers functionality for advanced users. So I can switch to an advanced mode here, and underneath I have all the microservices that are running here. But what I can do as well, so I can see all the AI models that are running in this private cloud in this data center. I can look at the models themselves. I see that, okay, today we stopped this Llama 3.3 because we installed, let me see, Gemma 3. So this is a new Google open source model that speaks also Swedish very, very well. And also Finnish, actually. Finnish has been an issue. So somehow like not so popular language in Europe. Anyways, I can also see on a per hardware level, like, AI models live on top of the GPUs. But here I'm seeing in real time, like, okay, the GPU 0 here in the data center, and most of its memory is taken by this Llama model, and there's a little bit free. And the system is smart enough that when you want to go here and you want to deploy a new AI model, let's say, so these are some recipes by us, but you can use the platform to deploy any open source model from Hugging Face. But these are just recipes that we offer here as examples. Let's say I want to deploy Llama 3.3. I'll give it a name. I can also, even if I am a super user, I can target to which server it goes to. I can even target to which GPU it goes to. But I can also not do that. I can take these out, and the system is smart enough to populate the model on the video memory of the cards that is free. And it will automatically do that, automatically organize things. And here is, of course, the path where it downloads the model from the internet. I can also change like how much memory it uses. So essentially this is used to, when you bring files to the AI model, you need to also reserve some memory in the GPU so that those files are stored as context. So this is the so-called context length. Right? This is also a production grade inference. So of course, like we have all used those services like, ChatGPT or whatnot that have, hundreds of thousands or even millions of users. How those are served is that you actually make multiple copies of the same model, but to the user, it appears as one single interface. You can already do that here. You can set so-called replica count, and the system will automatically manage itself and make replicas, and you can serve, potentially hundreds of thousands or millions of users already. So this is a fully fledged inference platform. And of course, you can make storage volumes for AI agents, all this kind of fancy stuff. But having a look at, okay, how does this then, let's say, appear to the end user? So let's start a new chat. So here, this is an open source chat interface that we use. Just a sec. And it has now access to this gamma-free model that is running in the same private cloud. So what I can do here is, let's say I want to, I'm just of course showing you the functionality. So here's a chart of how our system looks like, right? So give me an analysis of this infrastructure. I am an expert. Please be brief though, because I am super busy. So now it will basically analyze this picture and give me an analysis of that. And this is all served from a data center. This is not served from, Microsoft Cloud or Google Cloud or whatever. And this same experience, of course, applies to Elastx. So you can think of the various use cases that, you can do here: multimodality, you can generate files, you can generate code. For example, like this. And it's very snappy. It's a completely different experience than your like mass market APIs. And yeah, it's generating code there. But let's say I'm bored, I can go and even switch the model here. So these are all the models that are running in the cloud. I can say, hi to Gwen. What is the tallest mountain? So that's just how I'm like switching models in real time. I hope this gave a little bit of a understanding that, okay, all these models that you see here, these are served directly from our system. We can then directly go to the system here and then manage them. We can also, of course, embed the endpoints here as well. So if we want it. So for example, here's a RAG endpoint that I can talk to. Yeah, I think that pretty much concludes my presentation, and would be great to hear, what questions or comments you have. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you, Markku. Really good. Just before we get questions in, I think that the guys in the background here need to make everyone contributors to the meeting before they can write questions. But so in general, and from a business perspective, do you see that these types of solutions that you provide together with us, is that, coming into the market more, and do you have a big demand for this right now?
Yes, so we are seeing a lot of demand for open source based LLM systems. So mainly this is because in the end, companies want to control their software experience end to end, and open source models are performing on par with so-called closed models as well. So obviously, yesterday we saw that the new DeepSeek model is the best non-reasoning model in the world. So better than Anthropic's model, for example.
That's really cool. That's cool. So what other things are some from your perspective? I know you're flying around the world to talk about this, and you get a lot of influences from sort of everywhere. What's new and what's the next? What are the trends, if you can mention a few of them?
Well, overall, a big trend is of course like open source LLMs as such. Like spending time in Silicon Valley, people often in their presentations they outline like that they have built a certain type of system. I'd say in most cases it comprises of open source components, basically. Agents are very, very big. There are multiple different types of agent implementations. I recommend everybody to, get accustomed to agents and start, working on the AI agents, but, it's still a developing field.
Yeah. How about, to be more technical and so we've seen OpenAI and the likes making huge models, spending billions of dollars and so on in making them as good as they are. Will that be a trend that continues? I mean, bigger and bigger models, or do we actually stand a chance here with private models a bit smaller on smaller hardware and so on?
So there are multiple elements to this. Some say that so-called scaling laws are slowing down, meaning that if you throw more and more and more of computes, you start to get like kind of diminishing returns, right? You don't, if you add like 100,000 more GPUs, you don't suddenly get like a massive boost. This is still in play, but it looks like that you can't just absolutely brute force your way through things. You need to also have high quality, data and training. You need to have other types of systems than just like, throwing compute at the problem. I would predict that we are going to see this year even an open source model from OpenAI. I'm talking to enterprise decision makers. A lot of the biggest companies in the world, they run these systems in-house. Many of them even on their own servers, right? And there is a specific reason for that. It's information security. Many of the AI tools that many of us use in our day-to-day lives, these are not connected to any relevant information. But you can think of, if you can connect it to highly relevant information, what are all the things you could build?
Yeah. Very inspiring, actually. So we have a few comments and questions here in the chat. It's also possible now to, I think, raise the hand and speak questions if you want to. But you forgot to explain the acronym RAG. I don't think you actually forgot that. You explained that, but maybe that could be something you repeat.
I think I said it really quickly. So retrieval augmented generation. So, LLM on its own, it's a corpus of information. Basically, it's a neural network that has been condensed. It's information that has been condensed in a form of a neural network, and then it can answer questions based on the information that is in its training data, right? Sometimes LLMs also answer questions that are not in the training data, and this is so-called hallucination. But if you give the model access to information, this is often done with this RAG. So you basically bring information available to the model that it can analyze and then generate an answer based on your internal company information or based on the information in your product.
Yeah. Great. And then we have another question here from Andreas. Can I deploy any Whisper model?
Yes, you can. I think I didn't show, but even in this internal environment that we have, I think there was a Whisper deployed there. And you can deploy also text-to-speech models and these type of systems. So our platform is meant to be really an end-to-end platform to create all kinds of, especially generative AI experiences. And we are bringing more and more functionality to also do these kind of AI systems that contain not only generative AI models, but have multiple other machine learning models there as well. Very good question.
Great. And then Johan is back here with another question. Could we use the Mistral AI engine? Is it launched as open source yet? Question mark. And how does it compare with others?
Yeah, so you can use on our platform Mistral's open source models. They have recently released a small model that's very highly performant. So for many use cases, small models are preferable because, like I often say that, like, you don't want to use a nuclear weapon to shoot at a fly, right? Like these big LLMs, massive LLMs are like way too big for the task. And like the smaller models, like you saw in this demo that I showed for the Gemma, they are like really snappy, really fast, right? To generate the answer to the user. And Mistral also has proprietary models that can be run on our platform as well, but those come with extra cost.
I see. Excellent. Righty. Do we have any other questions from the crowd here? Yeah. Why support GitHub but not GitLab is another minor question.
I think this is a thing from our designer. So let's say if there is a need for doing GitLab, we're happy to build that connector. The view there with those grayed out connectors is just to give an idea. But overall, like our background is in data connectivity. We can pretty much build any data connector you need.
Excellent. Excellent. Right. It might be so that we don't have any more questions from the crowd here, but it's still possible. Otherwise, I think that I have a few words to share before we say thank you to Markku and everyone. I hope this works now. A big thank you, Markku, first of all, to come to us and provide. And we're really, really proud to be able to do these kinds of things, quite cool things, I would say, in Sweden, in our own data centers together. You know, we always announce the next Cloud-fika at the end of a fika. And next one will be about immutable storage, another hot topic. And we will be launching some services around this topic and to provide that during the spring now. And we will run a Cloud-fika to explain it more in depth and so on. So yeah, follow us on LinkedIn. We're mostly active on social media and then LinkedIn with content on what's going on within and around us. And then we also will share this particular presentation on YouTube. The channel itself is not very, you know, content heavy, but it consists of mainly cloud and tech fikas. So thank you for today, and another big thanks to Markku. Have a great Wednesday.
Thank you all. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay.